3 decades ago, photographer Bob Madden snapped an historic photo of the volcano Kilauea erupting. Now he's back to get the ultimate photo of the volcano in action today. He's in a hot spot, dangled over, burned by, and chased away from Kilauea's lava. He'll find out if he's still got what it takes to take on a volcano and get the perfect shot. Meet Bob Madden, photographer. A photographer with a problem. He's been sent to this place by National Geographic to take the perfect shot of bright red molten lava in action. And the lava is not here. But there was a time when it was here. Here is Kilauea volcano on the big island of Hawaii. And the year was 1974, when Bob took an extraordinary photo of a volcano scientist in front of a wall of flying lava. The photo wound up on the March 1975 cover of National Geographic magazine. Now, to get another amazing photo of Kilauea's lava in action, he'll need help. And he'll get it from the very same scientist pictured on the cover from back in '75. His name is Robin Holcomb, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get Bob in front of where the lava flows today without getting anyone killed.
We needed Robin to tell us where and where not to stand, just like we did in 1974. How close we can get, don't go across that crack, stay on this side. That's very important.
Together, they're going on an incredible journey. One that will test every skill they have. They're going to go to ridiculous lengths just to get a picture. For starters, they're trying to find the place where the 1974 photo was taken and see if there's any lava still there.
I would suggest we walk up along this trail around the end of the flow. That gets us right into the area where those photos were taken. Up on around the end of the flow here.
The problem? The site of the 1974 photo doesn't really exist anymore. At least, not like it was then. The eruption Bob photographed in 1974 was at a spot called Mauna Ulu. It was once a mere fissure. But during the eruption, the ground built up. After the eruption, the ground cooled and settled. That's what makes finding the spot of the photo such a challenge. They're joined on their hike by Mike Poland of the U.S. Geological Survey Hawaiian Volcano Observatory. Maybe the next generation of scientists will be able to help them on their quest to find lava. But what Mike shows them isn't what Bob expected. What was a fountain of lava in '74 is now a hole. A huge, steaming hole.
Oh, yeah. And I want to stand there.
At the very top, we look down and there's a 50-meter hole where the lava had been coming out from before and now is stopped. Why is it still steaming up here? I can't figure that out. I mean, you said that this is a dead volcano since 1974.
Well, it takes an awful long time for this lava to cool. And so what we're seeing is steam coming from just the hot rock that's down beneath us. There's a great big thick pile of lava here.
Wow.
It's going to take decades to cool.
Bob and Robin try to get their bearings to restage the 1974 photo.
They might be getting close.
All right, here we go. Your words.
But there's definitely something missing from this photo, something this spot had more than enough of in 1974. Lava. In that year, Bob Madden was on the island doing a photo assignment for the magazine when Kilauea's lava began to put on an amazing eruptive display. Bob rushed to the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, where the volcano is studied, to try to get some photos of the lava. he was introduced to a young geologist named Robin Holcomb, who worked at the observatory.
I had several different jobs at the time, but the main one was to be the observatory's photographer.
Robin remembers meeting Bob.
He was a hippie. He had these bell-bottom blue jeans that he wore, and he had a very big, bushy black beard.
Robin agreed to take Bob to the lava.
When he said, "I'll take you out there," I didn't know exactly what to expect and found out later it was more than I bargained for.
Robin took Bob to the very precipice of the lava fountain to capture the eruption. Then Bob went to work to capture exactly the photo he wanted. Bob needed somebody in the shot so readers could see how high the fountain was. That somebody was Robin.
I think it was more fun for him than it was for me.
Robin was silhouetted against the rim of the volcano, shielding his face from the heat. When Bob asked him to walk back and forth across the rim,
I kept saying, "Boy, this is really a great picture. Keep it up."
And being a meticulous photographer, it wasn't good enough to do it once. I had to do it quite a few times.
that's because Bob knows that getting the right photo takes tenacity, regardless of the conditions.
You're looking for light quality. It was in the middle of the day, so I wanted the sun to go behind the clouds so that that magma would be much more brilliant. And after a while, he kept calling down, "Hey, Bob, it's getting pretty warm up here. I need to get out of here."
After 45 minutes roasting Robin by the lava, Bob had his picture. When Bob learned the photo had been selected for the March 1975 cover, he realized it wasn't just tenacity.
We were just lucky that we were there at the right time in the right place.
Today, though, this is clearly not the right place. The lava has come and gone, leaving only steam, and lots of it, which gives Bob an idea for an interesting photo before moving on.
The steam is pretty amazing. One I want to do where you're coming up right in through there, getting all this steam in the foreground. We have Robin in silhouette, so you don't know quite who the gentleman is that's coming up through there. It may look like a creature from the Black Lagoon.
No lava here, just a picture sheathed in mystery. But for now, the mystery is, where did the lava go? And where is Bob's perfect photo hiding? Bob knows that wherever it is, it'll have to come naturally. You can't force a cover shot.
So we never go out and recreate a picture specifically for a cover. So we're always looking within the coverage for one that's the epitome of that particular place. When people see it, they go, "I know exactly where that is. Now let me go read the story." And so now our mission in 2008 is to go out and find something very similar to this.
Which means getting in front of the lava and setting a good photographer loose, just like in 1974. And Robin knows where that lava might be going.
Well, the volcano is still erupting, but it's not doing the same thing it was in those days. It's a long, sustained eruption in which all the lava is coming out through lava tubes, down low on the flank of the volcano and flowing into the ocean.
Robin has laid out the roadmap. To find the lava, they'll have to go with the flow. And they'll take it from the top. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory is perched literally on the edge of Kilauea's summit caldera. And it's where the magma, underground lava, pushes toward the surface. This is where Bob and Robin will start their lava hunt. They've come at an auspicious time. Just 5 weeks before they arrive, an explosion at the summit.
The wind shifted from the south, pushing plumes from Pu'u'o'o toward Hilo, bringing dangerous levels of sulfur dioxide with them.
Hawaii Volcanoes National Park is closed. Nearby communities are evacuated, and the Big Island holds its breath.
Suddenly, a lot of explosions at the summit. These are relatively small so far,
Right.
but it's a major change.
Wow.
Nothing like this has happened since 1924.
Can this be where Bob's photo lies? Here at the newly aroused summit of Kilauea? it's time for Bob and Robin to find out what's happening to the volcano. Because of the danger at the summit, the park won't let Robin go to the edge of the crater. Instead, Don Swanson and Juanita Rausch of the Volcano Observatory go around the crater, collecting debris upchucked by Kilauea's summit. And they'll show Robin what's happening inside the smoking crater.
We collect ash in buckets like these that we have out on the crater floor, and this is a good sample that we got today.
Now that we don't have
in the lab, Robin learns that the volcano is in transition.
So it's changing, it's not constant.
But it's important because we still have a juvenile component in this ash.
Oh, it's still putting fresh material out.
Yeah.
That fresh material is Bob and Robin's first glimpse of today's lava, in odd form. Black glass droplets, nicknamed Pele's tears, after Pele, the goddess of the volcano. And stringy fiberglass, called Pele's hair.
This is really fresh and unbroken.
Yeah, it's really nice.
This is lava, or its remnants, at the very top of Kilauea. Something that Bob definitely didn't see in '74. Which to Bob means it's a photograph waiting to happen.
It's really lucky today that we don't have the bright light out there, that we do have some fog, because it's going to make a better picture for me here.
Fog is sulfuric smog, put out by the crater. Toxic, yes, but a lovely diffuser of light.
That's very good.
But what does this new activity at the summit mean? If the lava is not flying out of the summit, it must be escaping some other way. So Bob and Robin travel down the volcano's flank, looking for trouble. And they find it at one of the volcano's hottest spots, Pu'u'o'o.
The activity in that vicinity have been going continuously now for more than, I think, 25 years.
Matt Patrick of the Volcano Observatory explains what's happening here now.
We have good views into Pu'u'o'o now. There's a bit of new activity with a new gas vent that's opened up, and it might suggest that, magma is moving closer to the surface in this area, which is always something that we have to be concerned about.
They're almost close enough to touch the volcano, but it's too dangerous to land. Besides, Pu'u'o'o is only venting. Its lava is leaking out from underneath and sneaking its way to the sea. To see lava, Bob and Robin need to be moving on. From Pu'u'o'o to the sea, the lava flow is easy to find. Look for a line of smoke billowing down the hill. Just beneath that smoke flows fresh lava, and Robin has an idea for how to get a close-up of it. He explains that much of the southeast corner of the Big Island is riddled with its own plumbing system.
It's a very complex plumbing system. It's coming up in a main conduit from beneath Halemaumau, and then it's moving, there are fingers of it moving off laterally into the rift zone. Once it erupts on the surface, it just finds the easiest way down toward the water.
As lava runs along the surface, the outside of the flow hardens like a candy shell. The rest runs underneath like rain through a gutter. Eventually, the lava drains out and moves on, leaving a tunnel called a lava tube. And there's only one way Bob can see, or scientists like Robin can study, lava when it's in a tube.
The only way we have access to the lava is a few places where the roof of the tunnel collapses. And these collapses are called skylights. They're very useful because it's a good place to measure the flow rate, the temperature with instruments, or you can collect samples from the lava stream and get those analyzed because we want to follow changes in the chemistry of the lava.
Which might tell you what the volcano is set to do next. So Bob and Robin will get help from the scientists at the observatory. They'll take a sample of lava out of a skylight, and Bob will take a close-up of the lava.
The first thing we do is check it out with the helicopter, looking down to make sure that there are no new collapses. There is a new collapse we saw yesterday, but it was several hundred meters away, and would look like one that was too dangerous to approach.
Bob and Robin will helicopter in to photograph the lava sampling and tread gently. The sample will be collected by Matt Patrick of the observatory.
We want to be careful where we walk. We obviously don't want to approach the skylight too closely.
Okay, now you're going to let us know what's safe and what's not safe, obviously.
Start over here.
There are two skylights to choose from. One that's larger, safer to approach, with more solid ground around it. Another, smaller, less stable, less safe.
So if you could demonstrate how close you would be there, it gives me an idea. And I can get onto this one over here, maybe?
Yeah, not any farther than that area over
Not
there.
any farther. Okay, I got you. And then I'm going to move low. What's up?
So we have a heavy hammerhead, which is attached to a long cable, and we're going to lower that into the skylight, which is a hole in the roof of the tube, and until it makes contact with the lava and it sinks and gets a glob of lava on it. And we're going to take it up, we're going to quench it, which involves taking the hot lava and putting it into a coffee can of cool water. Basically, that freezes the lava in its pristine state.
For the scientist, the test is a success. For the photographer, not so much.
The problem I had was I couldn't stand in a particular place. I couldn't look into the lava tube the way I wanted to and see the scientist.
Bob would like another sample taken from the other skylight,
Usually, when you're in the field,
the
try to limit the
less safe one to stand near.
This skylight's a little more difficult than the other one.
All right.
Also, the small opening makes it more difficult because
get the thing out of there.
The stream is quite vigorous and it pulls the hammerhead.
Oh.
Bob explains it's a lighting thing.
If I have you against the lava and you're partially backlit, certainly I can see you against the lava and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Matt obliges. And like in 1974, the scientist gives way to the photographer.
Anytime, buddy.
Matt has bagged his sample, and Bob has bagged a photo.
It's really cool. That's what it is. That's just terrific.
For Bob, it's terrific. For Robin, it's potentially horrific. He realizes that Kilauea caldera may be acting out its death throes.
Since Bob and I were here 35 years ago, we have seen significant changes, and they seem to fit a pattern. And to me, it's extremely interesting because it's the pattern that I predicted when I did my doctoral thesis.
In 1987, his thesis predicted the collapse of the volcano. And Robin wonders if all this, the draining of lava from the summit, the rush of lava toward the sea, is the start of that. If it is, it will be highly, well, photogenic, to say the least.
And this current change in activity suggests that we could be getting into a period of more explosive activity at the summit. And the big question is whether this will just sort of come to a stop or build up to something bigger over the next several months or several years.
In his paper, Robin says something like this: the magma flowing out of the summit hollows out the volcano. The magma is holding the volcano up.
When that occurs, it collapses. It can't support itself anymore. It collapses, and you begin to get big explosions.
Oh, man.
The worst case scenario?
a very large part of a volcano will collapse and slide into the sea. Something like what happened at Mount St. Helens a few decades ago, but on a much larger scale. And that's the big question. Is that going to occur? And is it going to occur pretty soon?
One change that is happening right now, the lava is draining out of the summit and running to the sea. And if Bob wants his lava photo, he'll have to follow it. Bob Madden is hardly the first photographer to try to capture the red of Kilauea. For centuries, the mountain has been going off, and people have been trying to illustrate the drama. People want to see the red. So in 1924, National Geographic magazine meticulously hand-colors its photos of Kilauea for its readers.
These 1924 hand-tinted pictures are pretty magnificent. It's basically like watercoloring over the top of the image. Some of the ways that they picked up the red are pretty true to color.
Then, in 1959, the volcano erupts again. A small spot just east of Kilauea, called Kilauea Iki, blows up.
This is Kilauea Iki pit crater, just east of the summit caldera. It's the site of one of the most famous eruptions of the volcano in 1959-1960, when there were fountains that approached 2,000 feet in height. At the end of this eruption, it appears that the magma began moving down rift zone further toward the ocean.
National Geographic sends its photographers, again with the quest to get as close to the red as they can stand.
Now a photographer rushing in briefly to take a very quick sequence. He can't stand the heat. He'll have to get out.
In order to capture the rich color and mesmerizing motion of flying lava. Today, Kilauea Iki cools its jets and steams. So where is the lava? Here, running straight into the ocean. This is where Bob's photo is. The only problem, there's really no place to stand. So, he'll fly. Lots of chopper pilots fly near the lava going into the ocean, but one guy gets really close to it. That pilot is David Okita. When lava hits water, it throws an updraft of steam, and that steam can fry a helicopter motor in an instant.
Are you guys set to go back there?
But David is the Volcano Observatory's go-to chopper pilot, and he knows how to shimmy a small craft right up to the lava, so Bob can get the ultimate photo.
I think we got a good bird here. I know we got a good pilot. The pilot's been out there a number of times and really understands it well, so I think we're going to be in great shape here. Got the doors off the plane. It's going to be terrific. Great shooting range for me, and be able to do a lot of good things.
Before dawn, it's off to the lava flow.
They're kind of dangerous to be in because when you are flying low, we've lost a couple of National Geographic photographers with helicopters, but they are a terrific way to get low, to get close. I call it a moving camera platform.
These are expert maneuvers, crab walking sideways, away from the deadly steam, corkscrewing in to get right on top of the lava flow. David gets close enough that Bob can feel the heat blast from the lava.
You have a saying that you look on the pilot's brow, and if you don't see sweat, he's not low enough.
David's low enough, and Bob is firing away. But Bob is also a perfectionist. There was something missing.
the helicopter photographs can only do so much. And so we made some very nice photographs there, but in the air is kind of a flattening, a look down that kind of flattens out the photograph. I needed some 3-dimension.
4 decades experience have taught Bob to know exactly what he needs. His assignments for the magazine took him literally from the top of the world to the bottom.
The first couple of assignments when I was at National Geographic were the South Pole and the North Pole. So I told my boss, I said, listen, you know, I joined this company to go around the world, but could you do me a favor? Quit sending me like this and start sending me like this.
Hawaii was just the start. He filmed assignments in over 12 countries, was named Photographer of the Year and Magazine Photographer of the Year by the National Press Photographers Association. That's why when Bob says there's something missing from the helicopter photo, he means it. And you can be sure he'll up the ante until he's happy.
You have to decide if you've actually done everything you can to make the best photograph of that water entry of the lava that you can. So maybe it's by air, maybe it's by sea, maybe it's by land.
By sea?
I thought, this is a good idea. We should be down underneath the water looking at that lava as it comes in.
Bob is proposing getting into the water with the lava. The helicopter was dicey. This is crazy. To take pictures underwater, you need a special housing for your camera. And Bob is getting his from renowned underwater photographer Doug Perrine.
This is a Icolite housing for your Canon 5D camera.
Oh, that's terrific.
The housing serves as the photographer's fingers, using the buttons underwater.
It's all about the gear, isn't it?
Next, a dunk test to make sure it's sealed.
Hold it down. Of course, some bubbles come out of these handles where there's an airspace.
Sure. Well, I don't see any bubbles coming out of the camera. That's the good part.
That's the good part.
That's really what.
Check. The camera will be safe underwater. But will Bob?
That's good.
Doug has a cautionary tale for him.
Flashing around inside.
Have you been down to the flow recently?
Yeah, I've been down there 3 times this year. 2 times we went and looked and said, And the last time, while we were waiting an hour, we looked at the shore right in front of where we were going to dive, and it just started crumbling and backing farther, and we could see landslides going down and steam explosions coming up, and I said, boy, glad we didn't dive there.
What Doug's talking about is this. As lava goes into the ocean, it dries and creates new land called a bench. But it's like charcoal, crumbly and unstable. And eventually, it breaks off into the water, which is bad if you're in the water.
And while you're down there, parts of this are crumbling, so things are coming down at you. And the part underneath you may crumble as well and drop out from beneath you.
That is dangerous.
In which case, all the water that you're in may go down with it. So you could suddenly be going downwards towards, you know, people have been sucked down to deeper than 300 feet.
Right.
Which gets very scary.
Bob has to think about whether he really wants to dive under the lava. Bob needs to discuss it with a rational person. Instead, he goes to this guy.
The risks here are as dangerous as diving gets. Well, this is the most dangerous dive in the world for the last 5 years running that I know. Anything can happen.
Shane Turpin is a boat captain, and according to some locals, a bit of a cowboy. He goes to the lava by boat most every day, and he's done that death-defying dive countless times. When he messes with lava, it looks like this. Raw lava running into the sea and immediately hardening. Can Bob get into this stuff for his photo? Shane has agreed to take Bob and the underwater camera crew to the lava on his boat to try to get the best photograph he can of the lava coming in from underwater. And a dive this dangerous needs a plan.
Generally right around this point here is where we'll see our rough seas. It's day to day right now due to the amount of bench that's packed up. It's a real steep cliff. and lots of debris falling right now, so every day it's shifting.
Extremely unstable.
And I'm not talking only every day, I'm talking every minute. It's all going to depend on how it looks when we get there, what she'll let you see, Pele's.
I see. What Pele
Better say your prayers tonight.
Right. We'll find out tomorrow.
See how your luck is.
Bob's dive will be a game day call. Well, not really day.
In order to get to that flow right at dawn, you need to leave pretty early in the morning. How about like 1 o'clock in the morning?
Bob needs to be at the lava entry by sunup, and it's a 3-hour ride there. 3 very rough hours. All gear must be stowed.
And if you have something that you don't want getting wet, it's going to get wet if it's on the floor. I'll shift it now, and it'll shift itself to the back by the next 2 hours. So
and we know the shift happens.
It happens, man.
Until a glow on the horizon.
What are you seeing, Bob?
Seeing a lot of action in there, a lot of sparks, a lot of explosions.
It's still too dark for diving, so Bob starts by shooting from the boat.
We get closer and closer, and now you start to hear it. All right. And then it's brighter and brighter, and then you get to smell it, like a sulfur smell. Very cool. Little steam action. We're close.
Sunrise. Time for Shane to position the craft as close as possible to the lava entry.
Pretty special day out here. We have 2 major entries on the Waikupio-Naha flow right now. We're coming upon one of the smaller entries. It's been a little bit better for us to shoot here and there because not quite as much steam. Right over there behind us, we had a river about 10 foot wide growing pretty quick. Quite exciting, especially if it's your first time out in the boat.
Shane maneuvers the boat right into the middle of the mess.
All right, here we go. We're coming in really close here.
And Bob shoots from the boat. Now it's time for the underwater crew to dive the waters near the lava entry. Their job? Get a good look at lava flowing underwater and let Bob know if it's safe for him. Mike, the cameraman, Carlos, his assistant, and Shane go over safety plans.
But if someone does have to come up, we'll all come up as a group.
Okay. And if at any time anybody feels that it's getting too risky,
I'm leaving it up to you guys.
No, we'll look at each other.
Yeah, we'll look at each other.
Look at us and say, hey, I think it's time to go.
Yeah.
Main things are when the avalanche does come, just get off the bench.
Yeah.
Just get out.
Yeah.
Take us on in, Dad.
Are we ready on the camera?
Because the surface where the lava is going is so hot, the team will have to enter and exit the water from a distance, which makes fast escapes that much harder. The water is acidic from the minerals from the volcano. The lava entering the ocean is over 1,000 degrees. It's hot. Conditions are not safe. The lava can't be seen, only felt. If an avalanche happens, no one will see it coming, and the water is too hot to operate in. This is a one-day-a-year shot they're trying, and today isn't that day. But Bob won't let that keep him from getting his picture. So he has an idea, a radical one. He'll lash himself to the bottom of the diving steps of Shane's boat and be shoved into the lava for a half-water, half-surface photo. No time for a wetsuit. The light is just right now. Bob will have to subject himself to whatever the volcano has for him.
These stairs allowed me to climb down and sit on the bottom of the step and actually dipped the camera in the water.
So here we go. Let's see what happens.
With Robin holding the rope in case Bob goes into the drink. Shane's job is to get Bob as close as possible to the lava without killing him.
Getting a nice bath?
Oh yeah, like a hot bath.
This bath will get hotter.
These aren't cold to stare to hell, are they? Oh!
At 1 o'clock.
It's pretty simple. The closer you are, the better for photography.
To starboard.
1 o'clock.
And the more dangerous for the photographer. And only Bob can decide what he can withstand.
Glowing floaters coming toward you.
Ah! Ah!
What?
Bob gets out.
You all right?
Bob gets in. And out.
Ah! Hey! There's got to be an issue. I can't get down there for the picture. My feet are burning out.
And in again, as Shane struggles to maneuver the boat to the right spot.
The boat captain, more or less, has to be like a helicopter pilot to position that boat.
Turn left a little bit. Yeah, we're going to navigate left.
They're working the engines, they're back and they're moving, and I'm down there telling them where I need to go.
Another push toward the shore, and a push of the luck, as Bob gets just 10 meters from the buyer.
Okay, Bob, here we go.
I knew when I was taking the picture that I didn't have enough lava.
Okay, you're gonna get a chance, Bob.
Just swim it that way, okay?
I couldn't get any red in the picture.
We just need a little red,
It's like a striptease. The volcano is only showing a little red, and it's spitting hot rocks at Bob to back him off.
Careful, careful. Back up.
When I couldn't see it, I knew that I was having a problem taking this picture. I had to get closer.
Come back in again.
Time is running out. One last chance.
He wants to go straight on in. One more time. There we go. Okay, straight ahead, Bob. Yeah, I see it, man. Straight in, man. There you go. Here you go. Here it is. At 11 o'clock. I got them all, Bubby. One more. Going left, left. Hey, go forward. There it is. It's at 11 o'clock, Bob.
A striking photo. Tiny underwater bubbles in the foreground, the steaming volcano in the background. Bob is half roasted, but he got his half and half shot.
We're done, babe. You got it? Oh, we got it. We got hot stuff, huh?
All right.
Thanks a lot. Woo! Yeah, we have to check out later what we got, but I think we got enough. I think we got right in there. We got the lava. We got the wave coming up underneath it. The steam up on top. I think it's going to be really great.
It was certainly spectacular from up here. I imagine your view was even better.
Well, except for my hot feet.
But Bob knows the problem with it.
You couldn't tell in a photograph how hot the water is. You can't hear the sounds of the surf and the bubbling and the hissing of those. Those don't photograph very well. Last couple passes, we moved in real close. I'm not quite sure it was close enough.
It's not the photo Bob came for. So he comes up with another idea. And when he tries it, he learns this volcano can bite. Bob's mission for a lava photo has brought him here, 4 in the morning, at the end of the road. That's what they call it because that's what it is. Here's what it looks like in daylight. On the southeast corner of the shoreline, the lava, year by year, takes more and more inhabited land and simply smothers it. But in the dark, it's even spookier, especially considering what's on today's agenda.
Here we are, bright and early again, trying to get the lava as it flows in from the land.
Bob wants to stand on the shore and watch the ocean waves toss lava globs up in the air. It's where he wants to stand that's the problem. He wants to stand on the bench. Remember the bench that Bob was warned about? The one that breaks off and buries divers in landslides?
Because it's a slope of debris, it's very unstable, and it can collapse in a landslide so that the debris and the little cap of lava can fall away.
That's where Bob wants to stand, that bench. It starts with a kilometer hike over the lava to a point near the ocean entry. Here, the lava buildup is actually forming new waterfront real estate in Hawaii.
Everything you see here in front of us is new land.
The downside? These black sand beaches are here today, gone tomorrow. The landscape here changes by the week, which means be careful.
We can't get too much closer here. It's really an issue. We got some hot stuff right in here, new stuff. We don't want that to break off and with us on it. So we're going to pick the best point of land with the safest place. And Robin's going to tell us how we're going to do that.
Robin's trained eye examines the land for clues of a potential collapse. A piece of high ground next to the ocean entry looks both promising and menacing. When the lava going into the ocean is struck by incoming waves, gobs of lava fly through the air, showering the bench with dangerous fire.
This is currently the main entry point for the lava into the ocean. And as the waves come in, they flood the entrance to the tube, which blow clots of lava up the way you've been seeing. It has been landing, I think, generally within about 10 meters of where we're standing now. It looks like sometimes it has extended quite a bit beyond us. So we're sort of on the edges of the zone where clots might be expected. So when you're in a place like this, you have to be prepared to run.
And Bob runs. Runs in, that is. Right where the lava is hitting the ground. That's Robin on the left. Bob moving in even closer on the right. This may be the main event. Bob is in much further than Robin is recommending.
As a photographer, you're always trying to get in as close as you can. You like to present that immediacy of a photograph. There's a risk involved in some of these things.
That's the attitude that gets cover shots.
When the big explosion comes that I think is actually going to rain magma on me, I turn and I'm out of there. I'm out of there as fast as I can go. This was click, click, run, come back, click, click, run, come back, click, run. No real smart photographer goes into a situation figuring they're going to get killed or injured. What you do is you take a calculated risk.
Eventually, the risks outweigh the reward, and Bob pulls out.
It's molten lava. In fact, when I was running away one time, one part came down and hit my water bottle right there and put a little dent in that, but that's better than the top of my head, that's for sure.
But the payoff is a picture that captures the intensity of Kilauea.
What I was doing is shooting with a very high shutter speed, so when that glob went up in the air, it would actually freeze it in a pattern over the cloud. So I think it's a good picture, it really is a nice one.
But Bob has an ace up his sleeve, a special shot he made here that he won't reveal until later. Bob took over 1,000 photos on this assignment, fiddling with exposures, shutter speeds, and light conditions. But in the end, only 3 are in the running.
The nice part here now is that we have a choice.
This one shows the power of Kilauea, the lava spattering like a bomb blast. This one is a colorful river of lava going into the water.
Each has, you know, its advantages. I feel very confident that I have something from each one of those that could be wonderful. We would run it, we'd think it's just terrific. But what we're looking for is the one. That's what we're looking for.
And here, Bob has found it. The perfect photo for this assignment is the one he grabbed in secret.
When Robin and I were early morning out at the flow, and it was almost like what we saw with the fountain in '75. It's not a fountain now, but with the time exposure and this fireworks going off, and Robin taking a photograph in the foreground, it seemed like we were right there in '75. Seemed like the same situation.
Kilauea still displays the signs of catastrophic collapse Robin worries and dreams about. It's why guys like him become scientists.
Don't you think it's exciting to see all that red stuff and all those explosions and see new ground forming every day and things that you knew changing so rapidly? It's a very romantic, exciting field to be involved in.
And the picture? It's why guys like Bob become photographers.
The nice thing is that when you get there and you're making the photograph, and all of a sudden you realize, this is why I'm here. This is it. I got it. This is the decisive moment.